The way this session is going, where they're going to cut $10 billion from public schools. Governor Perry seems intent on a war with higher education. He wants basically Texas universities to become disaccredited institutions. That's the course that he's bent on. You know, if you wanted to destroy or severely damage an enemy country, I suggest you start by tearing the education system down. You remember communism? A few years ago, we used to hear a lot about communism. Well, communists didn't understand any more than fascists understood or Nazis understood that the purpose of any government, any level of government, anywhere in the world, is to provide infrastructure. Physical infrastructure and the roads, sewers, public facilities of all sorts. Social infrastructure, and the biggest part of social infrastructure, of course, is education, both secondary and higher. Law enforcement is a part of social infrastructure, and that's what government exists to provide. Well, you don't hear about communism much anymore, do you? Communism did not provide the basic things that government is supposed to provide. Communism has been cast onto the dustbin of history. Sounds to me like what these people are trying to do to Texas. If you deliberately set out to damage the country, you do about what these people are doing. The Republican Party itself has changed markedly. In the 50s and 60s, for example, the Republican Party was the party of Eisenhower, party of highly intelligent, very reasonable leadership. Now it's the party of Rush Limbaugh. So there's an evil mutant gene in the Republican Party. Now, what I wish I knew the cause for that, and I don't. Texas is one huge tax break, okay, with constitutional prohibition against a statewide property tax. We have what amounts to a constitutional prohibition against a statewide income tax. That leaves a sales tax. To be sure, property taxes pay for a good deal of local government, not entirely. Property taxes now pay for probably about 60% of public schools now. It used to be the state paid 60 and the school districts paid 40, and it's the other way around now. So if we have constitutional prohibitions against two of the three basic forms of taxation, that leaves the third. That leaves a sales tax. I don't know, and you can repeal exemptions, you can raise the rates, and those are the only alternatives. As far as I can see, no rational discussion has taken place. If you want to have excellence in schools or health care or Medicaid, care for the disabled in nursing homes, hey, you got to pay for it. Well, one example, for example, in the 50s or 60s, for example, the legislature passed as a temporary tax repeal of the severance tax on high-cost natural gas. And the rationale behind that was that exploration for and the processing of natural gas was getting more important, more expensive, and therefore there ought to be a tax break on it. Well, whether or not that was true at the time, that time has long since passed. Senator Rodney Ellis has a bill, Senate Bill 1051, which would set up a commission rather like the Sunset Commission to review all such tax preferences and so forth. And of course, the high-cost natural gas exemption is the poster boy of things that ought to be looked at. Those are just such, you know, really basic kind of things. You know, why those things aren't done completely escapes me. Again, it's I guess I'm sure that these people aren't consciously setting about to cast Texas onto the dustbin of history, but I can't think of any other explanation. In the 1980s, early 1980s, Mark White was governor. And crying need for reform of the education code. So Mark White, in a stroke of genius, asked Ross Perot to head a Perot commission. And that commission made a number of extremely good recommendations. I mean, really radical proposals, like, hey, if you don't pass your courses, you can't play football. Any reasonable person can argue with that. There was a proposal which has not survived. A proposal that teachers should be tested. Certainly nothing unreasonable about that on the face of it. And in fact, I took the test that was proposed. And teachers are supposed to be college graduates, right? Well, this was about a junior high school level civics test. But the teachers got so up in arms about this that when also part of this package, teachers got the biggest pay raise in history. But they were so mad about teacher testing, they opposed Mark White for re-election and elected Bill Clements, about as anti-education governor as you would find until Perry came along. Legislators are not the only folks that can be irrational. Teachers can be pretty irrational too. Democratic candidates in recent years have not been exactly stellar examples. Bill White was. You're not going to get a better candidate or a finer person than Bill White. And of course, Bill didn't get very many votes. That election is another symptom of this ideological insanity. I don't know any other word for it. That is besetting Texas right now. I don't know that there's a cure. You can only hope that the disease runs its course before it kills the patient.